Listen to this. If you ever heard those conspiracy takes about Gucci Mane being a clone after prison, people might actually feel justified now because this version of Gucci is nothing like the one we used to know. Hold up, this ain't the same energy at all. Last night, I told you guys Gucci was dropping a Pooh Shiesty diss called Crash Dummy. And in that breakdown, I even said, look, he's probably gonna clown him, but he's not gonna be reckless enough to talk about an open case. So the real question was, what else is he even gonna say? Man, I was wrong for giving him that benefit of the doubt, because when Crash Dummy dropped at midnight, he wasn't just dissing, he was allegedly giving details tied to an active case. Now, pause right there, because the whole record already felt off, like he wasn't locked into the beat, more like he was reading statements and forcing them onto the track instead of actually flowing. And here's the thing, you can't really go that far and still deliver a solid record, and that's exactly why this one is getting attention for all the wrong reasons. Off rip, he goes straight at Pooh Shiesty like expected, even bringing up how, after everything, he's still signed to him, comparing himself to Birdman and Cash Money. But then it escalates fast because he starts describing what sounds like a setup during a so-called business meeting, talking about walking into a room and immediately feeling the pressure, like something wasn't right from the jump. And it doesn't stop there. He doubles down on betrayal talk, people smiling in your face while plotting behind your back, even drawing comparisons that make it sound personal and calculated. Then he pushes it further, referencing pressure during a signing situation in a way that's got fans questioning how far this really goes. And just when it couldn't get more intense, reports start surfacing that federal authorities mentioned Gucci allegedly gave a statement to Dallas PD the same night of the robbery. And that's where everything really starts feeling way deeper than just a diss track.
Is that on January 10th of this year, 3 music industry professionals traveled to Dallas for a scheduled business meeting. Lontrell Williams Jr. arranged this meeting purportedly to discuss the terms of his recording contract with one of the victims. As alleged, once these 3 men were inside the recording studio, Williams Jr. and 8 co-conspirators, several of whom traveled from Memphis, Tennessee, executed a coordinated armed takeover. As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other high-value items.
Any of the alleged victims, right?
So my understanding is the FBI has, over the past 3 or 4 months, has interviewed none of the alleged victims, and allegedly they all have future dates to give statements. But I have no idea if that's true. We're basing it on what the agent said on the stand, that each one of those witnesses from that evening is going to appear and give a statement to the federal authorities.
So RD never made a statement as of now?
Not
Not the FBI.
not to the FBI, but that evening it appears from the material that they produced and from the agent's testimony is that RD gave a statement that evening, but since that evening has not given another statement. But the FBI said in the future they're all scheduled to give statements, so we'll have to see.
Listen to this. Some people are straight up defending Gucci Mane, saying, nah bruh, this can't be real, Gucci would never do that. Because for years, we've heard him say on camera that he'd rather die than snitch. Hold up. That's why this whole Crash Dummy situation is hitting people so hard. Because now it feels like he went back on everything he ever stood on. And listen, it's not just fans reacting. Other rappers are visibly disappointed too. Boosie kept it short but heavy with a shaking my head. 42 Doug called it a joke, and even Lil Durk's circle through Deshaun Lowe came out swinging, basically saying they grew up on him and feel betrayed, even calling him bogus and saying he lost all respect while shouting out Free Shiesty and others. Meek Mill also chimed in, showing clear disappointment, and Freddie Gibbs summed it up in one line like, wow, this rap shit, which says a lot without saying much. Now pause right there. Because if you're Gucci in this position, a former street rapper turned executive, the question becomes real uncomfortable. Do you stay silent and let Pooh Shiesty's side win the narrative, or do you speak out and risk being judged by the internet and street code expectations? Because at that point, it's not just about music anymore. It's about reputation, survival, and what people think real is supposed to look like, even when your whole life and family are on the line.